Hey everybody, welcome to this video. Doug Barry here. I appreciate you being with me. All right, I'm going to get right into this pretty quickly here. Report has come out recently at the time I record this video from a retired Green Beret. We're going to show you some clips of this in just a moment here, warning the United States of what really many are referring to as pretty much imminent attacks or basically incredibly high probability. A term that he uses at one point in the full interview. We're not going to show you the full thing, just a couple of clips, but in the full interview, he says that the dashboard is not just blinking red lights, it is smoking with the seriousness of the times that we're in and the threat that is now we're facing here in America without a question. Before I get to the first clip, I want to encourage you to go out and sign up for our masterclass. Go to brcoalition.com/November. You can click the link in the description below. Go out, sign up for this. It's going to help us not make the very serious and sometimes fatal mistakes that can lead to just devastation if we're not better prepared, especially with this coming November election and everything else that we're talking about, including this particular topic that this video is about. So let's get to the first clip right now, and we'll break it down from here.
Green Beret, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann, and our friend joins us now in studio. Colonel, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Just first, your reaction to Israel's preemptive strike against Hezbollah.
You know, the first thing I thought about when I saw that is that we had better start paying attention here at home. You know, what happened on October 7 is not an anomaly. It's gonna hit us here at home. In fact, a lot of the veterans groups who are warning about an attack are saying that the next attack that hits the homeland is not going to be a World Trade Center type attack. It's going to be more of an October 7 style, Russian theater style attack where we live, work, and play. So I hope we're paying close attention to this.
Wow, I mean, you're talking, we've let in millions and millions of people. We have no idea who we are. We're vulnerable.
Yeah, we are. And ironically, the attackers that we're probably going to see do that have trained in the very NATO bases that we lived and operated in for 20 years in Afghanistan.
Wow.
There are people in this country, in America right now, and I love my country, but there are people in this country who are asleep when it comes to recognizing the seriousness of this threat. For those who are not remembering what happened almost 1 year ago, October 7th, in Israel, when Hamas just came in one day and decided to open fire in multiple locations, kill hundreds of people, over 1,500, raped, murdered, decimated. It is just an unbelievable thing to consider. And yet we're being told, as you just saw in that clip, that there are many veteran groups. And I can say some of the people that I talk with personally, retired intelligence officers who used to work for the United States, former FBI agents, and several other individuals who have been involved in one way, shape, or form in military or intelligence world are all telling me personally as well. They fully expect something to hit this country, and they all believe, as you heard in that clip, that it will be something much more in line with what happened on October 7th in Israel, or as this retired Green Beret mentioned, the Russian theater scenario. For those who aren't familiar with that, multiple terrorists attacked the theater in Russia. Over 130 or so Russians died. They opened fire, and then they set the building on fire. They opened fire with firearms, guns, right? Then they set it on fire. All right, the brutality of this sort of thing is unheard of. And yet in America, there's still people who think, well, I don't know. Is this something we really have to worry about? Look, we just need to be thinking about what we can do in this country or wherever you live to be better prepared in case something happens. That's the sort of thing we talk about with BR Coalition. We talk about in the masterclass that I mentioned before that I encourage you to go out and sign up for. Go out, click the link in the description. It's going to get you out there. I'm not trying to be a salesman here. I'm trying to help you be prepared. Honestly, the more of us that are prepared, the better off we all are. In my neighborhood, if something horrible like an Israeli Hamas style attack that happened on October 7th, if that happens in my neighborhood, and I'm the only one in my neighborhood that's prepared, that means the rest of us in this neighborhood are really behind the eight ball or in big trouble. But if half of my neighbors, a third, a quarter of the neighbors are prepared to in some way protect, defend, and so forth, or if there's a power grid down sort of event, a cyber attack, and half of my neighbors and I are prepared, then the neighborhood does better. This is common sense. This is logic. So again, that masterclass we're offering, click the link in the description below, get signed up for it, share this information with others. Let's get to the second clip though, this interview with this retired Green Beret, considering the threat that we are facing right now in America.
Remember that the guys and girls that picked up the phone when we abandoned Afghanistan 3 years ago and the government didn't were veterans who had worked with intelligence professionals and special operators out of Afghanistan. Well, we never hung up the phone. We paid for safe houses, medical supplies, food drops. And these individuals that we trained to collect information have continued to give us information about what's coming. And what they're telling us is there's 20 plus terror groups in Afghanistan. The son of Osama bin Laden, Hamza bin Laden, is alive and well and planning operations. He's married to Mullah Omar's daughter, Zawahiri's daughter.
That's an unholy marriage right there.
And Haqqani's daughter. And it's coming our way. In fact, we think they're late stage preparation right now. And we're hearing it from some very vetted sources who, frankly, don't trust our government to give them that information because of the way they left them. And the fact that our government is given $80 million of taxpayer money every 10 days to the Taliban. I mean, it's almost, you have to ask yourself, what planet am I on right now at this 3-year anniversary?
So once again, you're hearing it. As he points out, there are multiple veteran groups in America who are in communication and have been with people on the ground in Afghanistan, in the Middle East. From the time we left 3 years ago, they've still been in communication. Understand that. They're getting information from people over there who are saying the preparations to hit us over here in America are ongoing. And as he states in there, late stage preparation. Now, understand this, and I cannot make this any clearer. We may get hit at any moment with something. This is not about fear and panic. I've said this dozens and dozens of times in our BR Coalition work with Indomitable and all the work that we do now. It is not about panic. It is not about anxiety. It is about a sense of urgency, though, and a sense of common sense preparation. And it also, what should be involved in this is accountability for those that God has entrusted to our care. So for those out there who are saying, we're just going to trust God, he's going to take care of everything. God gives us the free will to take steps that are productive or that are destructive. And destructive steps would be oftentimes just really doing nothing, just letting things happen and not taking any precautions whatsoever. Or, for example, make sure that you've got gas in your gas tank, you've got some extra food and water on supply. Make sure you've got a good water filter. Make sure you've got a variety of other basic items that could get you through several days, allow you to move from A to maybe a secondary location for safety and protection, allow you to get a message to or have already communicated with your loved ones. Think about how many of you out there watching right now have students that are in college. You have kids that are in college or high school. Something happens during the day. Your kid at high school can't even get home because the city streets are in chaos, as they were on October 7th in various places of Israel. If they coordinate an attack in the United States, as you just heard again from this retired Green Beret, many veterans groups are saying, looks like is coming. They coordinate something in the United States, and we've got serious unrest or gunfire or who knows what may happen. Your kid may not even get home from high school. What have you done to help him or her? All right, let alone your college student kids somewhere else in the country. What have you done? What are you doing to help them be prepared? And it could be as simple as this. If my phone goes down, GPS is down, I can't travel one way or the other, and I don't know how to get somewhere. Do I even have a map, an atlas in my car? This is the sort of thing you provide for your kids. Make sure they've got an atlas. They've got something as simple as a flashlight, something as simple as a water purifier, a simple thing like maybe this sort of thing, item here on hand in case they've got to draw water out of a stream or a lake so they can survive. We can go about 3 days without water and we die. These are very basic things. Now, some might think, well, how does this come into play? And how do we apply that when it comes to dealing with an attack coming from terrorists? Because we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know how it will affect us. We don't know where we will be when it happens. We don't know if the grid goes down, if basic infrastructure pieces are shut down, like water treatment plants, gas stations. Okay, I don't go anywhere without at least half a tank of gas. Point being that if the gas stations get shut down for some reason, I've got some fuel in my vehicle to get to a location somewhere. These types of things are incredibly important for us to be thinking about. And again, not just for us. You might be thinking to yourself, I'm ready to go if God wants to call me. But you probably have loved ones that are either counting on you to provide for them at this current time, or at the very least, again, as I've mentioned, you've got college student kids or you've got parents or somebody out there that needs to be cared for. One of the greatest things we can do when we love someone is help them be prepared to deal with things in this world and prepare for the next, of course. But one of the greatest things we can do also for our loved ones is show them that we're taking care where we can of those things that will give them a sense of peace, that we're okay, or that we've got a fighting chance. God has given us an indomitable human spirit. St. John Paul II said that. We've been given a spirit that does not want to be dominated by sin, by our own weakness, or by tyrants in this world, bullies. God has given us that. So I encourage you, food, water, shelter, medical defense, these basic categories that we all need to be better prepared for, especially in the times that we're facing right now. Go on out to our website, brcoalition.com/November. Sign up for that free masterclass that's coming up. Get prepared for this. There's so much that we can do to avoid the mistakes that can even be fatal. There are serious problems out there, serious mistakes that we make that can lead to serious problems, even fatal problems, if we do not act while we have time. Again, one of my favorite quotes, I like to mention this one, I think it's an important one, is the wrong time to dig a well is when you're thirsty. Okay, the wrong time to get prepared for crisis is when the crisis is upon you. So let's take the steps in advance.